Hello and welcome back to the Dante in a Year podcast. Let's continue with Dante's Paradiso, Canto VIII. At its peril alone the world believed that the lovely Cyprian reigned her foolish love, wheeling in the third epicycle, so that the antique people in their ancient error not only gave her the honor of sacrifice and of votive shrieks, but honored Dione and Cupid, the one for being her mother, the other her son, and said how he sat in the lap of Dido. And from her in whom I take my beginning, they took the title of the star the sun longs for, now at her nape, now at her brow. It hadn't occurred to me that I'd ascended into her, but it made me certain enough of being there to see how my lady was made more fair. And as one sees the spark in a flame, and as in a voice is discerned, when one is firm and the other goes and returns, I saw in that light other lanterns, coursing more or less swiftly in their circles, in the manner, I think, of their inward vision. No winds descend from frigid clouds, whether visible or not, so forcefully that they would not appear impeded and slow to him who'd seen these divine lights veer to us, leaving the gyre first begun amidst the light seraphim. And within these who appeared just before us sounded Hosanna, so that since then I've ever desired to hear it again. Then one pressed nearer still upon us, and commenced alone. We all would lend to your pleasure, that you might rejoice in us. We revolve with these celestial princes in one gyre, one in our wheeling and one in our thirst, with those to whom you've already spoken in the world. You who, understanding, move the third heaven. And we are so replete with love that, to please you, a moment's quiet won't be less sweet. After I'd offered my reverent eyes to my lady, and she herself had made them certain and content, I turned once more to the light that had promised so much, and my voice, impressed with great affection, came, "Ah, who are you?" I saw it grow greater and more vivid when I spoke, on account of the new happiness added to its own. Made so, it said to me, "The world had me below for a bit, and had it been more, much of the evil to be would not have been. My elation keeps me hidden from you, in that it arrays me all around, and obscures me as the worm fastened in its silk. You so loved me, and from so good a cause, that if I'd been below, I'd have shown you far more than the fronds of my love. That left bank that lies laved by the Rhone, then when it's mixed with the Sorgue, expected me as its sovereign in time, and that horn of Ausonia that forms the border of Bari and of Gaeta and Catona, from where the Tronto and Verde disgorge themselves into the sea. Already the crown of that land that the Danube ripens after it abandons the German banks gleamed upon my forehead, and lovely Trinacria, clouded between Pacinus and Pelorus, over the gulf that receives the better part of Eurus's burden, clouded not by typhon but by sulphur ascending, would still have attended its kings, born through me of Charles and of Rudolph, if ill sovereignty, which ever attends the hearts of the subject people, hadn't moved Palermo to shriek, "Kill! Kill!" And if my brother had anticipated this, he'd already have fled the avaricious poverty of Catalonia, that it might not do him harm. For truly there is need for him or for another to see to it so that his burdened back be placed beneath no greater cargo. His nature, descended of broad stock, needs the craft of such ministers as haven't been mastered by their princes. In that I believe that the lofty elation your words have poured into me, my lord, is seen to you as I see it. There where every good's begun and ends, I'm better pleased. Then, too, I hold this dear because you discern it in marveling upon God. You've made me elated, and so make me clear, in that, speaking, you've moved me to doubt how there can be bitterness from sweet seed. Thus I to him, and he to me. If I might demonstrate to you a truth, you'll hold in sight what's now behind your back, and answer to that you seek. The good that turns and contents all the realm that you ascend gives its providence strength in these grand bodies. And not only are the natures foreseen in the mind which is perfect of itself, but essences together with their health. so that whatever this bow fires falls disposed to the providential end, just as what's directed to its mark. If this were not, the heaven through which you journey would so produce its effects that there would not be art, but ruin. And this cannot be, if the intellects that move these stars are not lacking, and the first lacking for not having perfected them. Would you have this truth made more plain to you? And I, not now, for I see that it's impossible that nature tire in that which is her work, at which he still. Say now, would it be worse for the man on earth were he not social? Yes, I responded, and here I require no reason. And can he be, if below he didn't live differently in several offices? Not if your master writes well here. Thus reasoning, he came to his point. Then he concluded, thus the issue of your effects must be diverse. In this one is born Solon, and another Xerxes, another Melchizedek, and another that one who, flying through the air, lost his son. Circular nature, which seals itself in the mortal wax, well forms its art, but does not distinguish one hostile from the other. So it comes to be that Esau departs in seed from Jacob, and Quirinus comes of so vile a father that he's rendered to Mars. Nature, generated, would ever take a similar way to its generator, if not overcome by divine providence. Now that which was behind you is before. But that you might know how I rejoice in you, I wish you'd mantle yourself in a corollary. Nature always, if it finds fortune discordant with itself, as every other seed outside of its region, makes an ill attempt. And if the world down there would put its mind to the foundation that nature sets, following this, it would have good people. But you twist into religion such as was born to gird himself in the sword, and you make a king of such as would give sermons. Thus your trail lies outside the way. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Dante in a Year podcast. See you next time for Dante's Paradiso, Canto 9.